For question 2 of part 2, we are given an infinite limit. Limit as x is approaching infinity, the square root of 4x to the 6th minus x divided by x cubed minus 1. We also need to find its horizontal and vertical asymptotes. So the first step for this limit is x is approaching infinity. We will have the square root of 4x to the 6th minus x on the top. And then on the bottom, we will have our x cubed minus 1. So the first step is to divide by x cubed on the denominator and in the numerator. So we're going to divide by x cubed. And this will give us limit as x is approaching infinity. In the denominator, we have a 4x to the 6th minus x divided by an x to the 3rd. But instead of dividing by x to the 3rd, since this is under a square root, we need to divide by the square root of x to the 6th power. Square root of x to the 6th power is the same as x cubed. So we're going to divide by x to the 6th, square root of x to the 6th, all over our x cubed minus 1 over x cubed. This will give us limit as x is approaching infinity, the square root of 4, because the square root of x to the 6th and then our square root of x to the 6th inside, those cancel out. So we're left with 4 minus x from right here, all over x to the 6th. And then that is our numerator. That's all over 1, because x cubed divided by x cubed is 1, minus our 1 over our x cubed. Now that we have two coefficients, we know that an infinite limit as x is approaching infinity, negative x over x to the 6th, will, in fact, approach 0. We also know that negative 1 over x cubed will also approach 0 as x is approaching infinity. So we are left with limit as x is approaching infinity, square root of 4 on top, all over 1 on the bottom, which gives us 2 over 1, which gives us 2. So the limit as x is approaching infinity of the square root of 4x to the 6th minus x over x cubed minus 4 gives us 2. The next step is to find our horizontal and vertical asymptotes. So one way to do this is for the denominator, we have limit as x is approaching infinity, the square root of 4x to the 6th minus x all over x cubed minus 1. We need to find a value on the denominator to give us 0. To find that asymptote, as stated in a previous question, we know that an asymptote means that that function is not defined at that line on the graph. So for a denominator to equal 0, we need x equals 1, because 1 to the 3rd power is equal to 1, to give us 1 minus 1, which is equal to 0 on the denominator. So our vertical asymptote will, in fact, equal x equals 1 for our vertical. For the vertical asymptote, or for the horizontal asymptote, we can, in fact, graph this function instead. So we know that we have a vertical asymptote at x equals 1, so we can draw that, and we can also draw our function. So we know that our vertical on either side will only approach x equals 1, but will never touch it. So we have our line like this, and the bottom will approach 1, move up to 0. It'll look something like that when we plot points. So therefore, we will have a horizontal asymptote along y equals 0. As this line is moving to 0, it approaches 0 and it stops, it touches 0 and it turns away from 0. So it is not defined at 0. So our horizontal asymptote will give us y equals 0.